Hello and welcome to a new week of my life reading and reading attempts, I guess. Last week was a really good reading week and I hope to replicate this this week. I'm currently at the garage. Every 2 years in Germany you have to have your cars go through a sort of a test. 5 stars. I didn't expect that I would give it 5 out of 5, but here we are. And then I am now finishing Trail of Lightning. I will be finishing it today. I will talk more about the books and what I'm reading this week and the details later. So needed to get out of the house. I have decided to go to the library, check if some of the club books might be in the library. I would be reading them in German. I don't feel like buying these books really, some of the ones that I have planned for this month, so yep, just checking. And then potentially I want to just go and sit down somewhere, grab a nice coffee and do some learning, do some homework for Korean. I desperately need to start doing shit again, so yeah, and it just feels good being outside, walking around and just not being at home. Feels really good. Hours and hours and hours of cleaning and setting stuff up. I'm trying to get rid of all my old clothes that don't fit anymore, and I have so much still. So much, and I feel like I've been setting up this thingy and everything. I've been at this for hours, honestly. It's gonna have to be good for today because I'm exhausted, and I'm just happy that everything is set up and I can continue doing this over the next few days and hopefully start selling a few of my old clothes, because it would just be too sad to put them all in the trash. So yeah, but I'm gonna take a break now.
1 hour later.
So, my life is full of book boxes right now. I have just sent Sarah her book box and the mail just came, and here is Sarah's book box for me. I'm super excited. And I'm actually planning to buddy read the book with somebody else, with Ilva. So I'm super excited. Such cute, like pink cat wrapping paper. Look at this. Oh, she put postcards in. There's like several postcards. I'll take a closer look at them when I get there. And then I think the small neon post-its are comments, and the bigger ones I think are referring to a gift. Then we have a gift numbers. Number 6, number 3. This could potentially be a mug. Number 5. Wow, this is heavy. This could be something to snack though, like a protein bar or something. This could be cookies. Oh, this is opening. No. This is number 8. I have no idea what this could be. Number 1, this is very light. This could be tea. Number 2. Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. Something smells good in here. This is really weird. Number 7. Oh, that's heavy. And then number 4. This feels like it's a book. I'm so excited. Can't wait. So I think that means that I will read this sooner. I'll check in with Ilva when she's ready to buddy read this. I think I'm probably going to swap out something that was planned for this week for this, because I cannot wait to read this. So when's the first gift? The first gift is on page 10. That's quick. And then page 49, page 92, 113, 193. It's a long wait between those two, but then 196, 214, and 274. So excited. So I am continuing with Cinderella is Dead, and I need to talk about this. I am having a little trouble getting into it. I was really psyched to read this, but I just cannot warm up with the main character. So basically, what Cinderella is Dead is about is that this plays in a world where 200 years after Cinderella happened, we live in this society where everything is pretty much built around the story of Cinderella. And it feels like almost like a religion, believing in a fairy godmother. You cannot speak against the traditions that the Cinderella story started. And one of the things that in this world is happening is that the young girls, they have to go to court for a ball, and during this ball the men pick whoever they want to marry and the women get no say in it. And if you do not get picked, you have like 2 or 3 chances, and if you do not get picked, you will be a forfeit and sent to a working camp pretty much. And so this ball is super important to young women. Our main character she doesn't really want to find her prince. She wants to marry a girl, and yeah, the information on the cover already revealed something that hasn't happened yet in being 100 pages in, so I'm not going to talk more about it. But we know that our main character is going to fight against this patriarchy, that she's going to fight against having to be selected, being considered a forfeit, that this whole concept is something that she doesn't like and that she's going to fight. And this is okay. This is a good setup. It's an interesting. I love the idea of having a fairy tale being considered history and forming a sort of even like religion, a belief that people believe in, and they believe that the fairy godmother could come back for somebody, etc. And I love this aspect of the story, but I feel like the author has taken most of the story way too much to an extreme. She is painting the society in such a bad picture. She's describing this patriarchy to be a lot worse than the simple patriarchy already is. She's really pushing it to be not just bad, like the worst. An image where it feels like every man automatically abuses the women. They're being treated like property, etc. Our main character's criticism about the society is valid. It leaves no playing ground for other ideas and other thoughts. It's just so extreme. My problem is that her raging doesn't feel entirely wrong, but to me it feels like this is written from a very feminist standpoint, where somebody is painting a picture that is just not considering that there might be something in between, that there might be not only other opinions, but also that other opinions might be not entirely wrong. Now I feel like DNFing it, and it has held me back from continuing my amazing reading streak. I have gone and read a few reviews, and there's quite a few people saying that at the next milestone in this book, which is already being promised in the description, we're meeting a second character, and a lot of people seem to like this second character, and there's supposed to be some twists coming up. First I was like, okay, if this is just turning into an LGBTQ romance that is the only plot, then I might DNF, simply because I don't feel like reading a book that is only about romance. And now it's too feminist and too extreme and too aggressive. I'm going to give it another 50 pages and then decide. I do realize that I'm starting to read a lot quicker, because the way that it's written, it is very, very, very easy to digest. Hopefully I'll find the joy in it, because I was really looking forward to it. Right from that, I have progressed quite far into Ask Again Yes. Is really enjoyable, and I'm really liking it. I have come to a point at around 200 pages where I'm like, it's just like a family drama. It's a well-written family drama, but I don't feel like just a family drama. I want more like plot twists and turns, more like mystery or something. I don't want to just follow a drama and then something happens in the book where I'm like, oh, but I want to hear how that plays out. I want to hear how that plays out. And so I keep at it somehow. It's just not as gripping as I would like it to be, simply because I'm not into like a simple drama story. But it's so well done that I keep reading it and enjoying it. I'm going to try and put a lot of time into both of these books now to just finish them off. I'm super looking forward to reading Warbreaker. My buddy read that I'm reading The Wheel of Time with, she's struggling to read this month. You know, sometimes life. And at the same time, two people from the Goodreads group from the traveling books reached out because they are doing a buddy read for Warbreaker, and I have just read The Way of Kings, loved it, and it is optionally suggested to read Warbreaker before reading the second book in the Stormlight Archive. Sounds good. I would love to go back into the Cosmere universe. Enjoyed it so much, and I would enjoy a buddy read on this. I have read 305 pages in the Shadow Rising, and I'm just going to push the other 700 pages to next month, and then I'm reading Warbreaker now, and I'm super excited for it. I read the prologue yesterday. I'm here for it. So wanting to finish up these two and then dive into Warbreaker and dive into a book that I have been watching on my top shelf for weeks now, and I just want to touch this book and get into it. It's a German book, which I haven't read for a while. I haven't read a German book for a while, and I'm just feeling it so much right now, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I still have on the schedule Slaughterhouse 5, which I finally want to read. I'm in the right mood for it, and I finally need to get to this. I think I'm just gonna go hit the stores now. I want to get some like a syrup for my coffee. I'm so tired. I only slept like 3 hours last night. How am I going to finish 2 books today with being that tired and meeting for dinner tonight? How am I gonna do that? I don't know. Let's just get some syrup for coffee and then go home and see what's happening with Cinderella. So I got to page 140 in Cinderella is Dead, and we're now just starting to get more into the part that is being teased on the description. I find 140 pages to be too much to start talking about the stuff that is already being spoiled on the outside or on the information on Goodreads. I want it to be like within the first 50 pages or so. Other than that, it feels like a spoiler. Anyways, it still feels like even with meeting this other person and everything, this other character, it doesn't make it better. I feel like there's a really good idea behind this, about how the a fairy tale might not be what actually happened, how the stories change, and how the person who's telling the story influences what the story will be, how people might be villainized who are everything but a villain, and how all this just changes, like how the narrative changes everything, and so much like such amazing idea and everything. It feels like it's too much. It feels like too aggressive, and you know, it's between portraying a message, which I love, and hitting propaganda over my head. That's kind of what it feels like. To continue on with the story, but I don't know. I'm a little bit torn about it. So let's see how late it's gonna be tonight and how I'm gonna feel about it then. I only have an hour left in Ask Again Yes. Listen to it on my way to this beautiful restaurant that we are going to have dinner in. I'm really enjoying it. I think that the changes that are now happening within the story are making it a little bit more interesting. It still just is family drama, and I'm not 100% into just family drama, but for that it's a really good book. So I'm not sure how I'm going to rate it. I doubt that there's going to be a big surprise happening, or that anything will change my feeling about this book, really. Right now I'm leaning towards 4 stars because it's really good, but it's just not entirely my thing, I guess. Right, so while I'm preparing my spaghetti squash, I love spaghetti squash, and this is something completely new to Germany. A few years back, I read my first spaghetti squash recipes. I finished Cinderella is Dead, and I finished Ask Again Yes. Let's talk about it. Ask Again Yes, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think what I really enjoyed about this book is how it shows our stories and how we think about people and how we honor people is heavily influenced by situation, perception, and what we've learned throughout life. I loved how we were able to get a glimpse of how the same situation can be perceived in different ways by the same person. Did not grip me emotionally enough to be a 5-star read. On the other hand, the book that I had really high hopes for, which is Cinderella is Dead, not so much. Not so much as in well done. Halfway through the book, I was like, how do we know that she's black? Is that ever actually mentioned? Is her appearance ever mentioned? Almost at the end of the book, we have the first mention where it says, my brown beautiful skin, in a sentence, in a way that it feels like it could have easily been edited in at a later stage. So I'm just wondering if Cinderella was written quite neutral, which would be the most amazing thing ever. To me, it feels a little bit like they have this lovely queer Cinderella story, and because the character is mostly written neutral, it feels like they might have sat down and said, okay, right now marketing a white Cinderella story doesn't give us extra points. If you've read the book and you disagree and you feel like this character definitely is black, please let me know why, because I want to be wrong. Sadly, aside from this, the story just doesn't hold up for me. I have Warbreaker in the living room. I started reading Warbreaker and it's amazing, of course. I'm taking it slow, trying to figure out how quick the others are reading it. And I'm now looking forward to opening up a German book in a long while. I haven't done this in forever. It comes from a publishing house that creates these like beautiful covers. And when I just started out on BookTube, I got this book box from this publisher where you could purchase a couple of books, and I wanted to read it since. And for the past couple of weeks, I was obsessed with starting to read this. Simply, I don't even know what it's about. I completely forgot what I read, what it's about, but something in this book, like, it's calling to me so hard. Let's open up Die Schöpfer der Wolken. Please let it be good. The first pages, I'm already like, before I start reading, I'm already like, yes, bitch. First of all, it says 7 dimensions, 4 people, 1 world, and she's breaking. So that's really intriguing. And then the dedication says, for everybody who is making the world a little bit better, and if it's just 1 world out of 7 billion. For my mom and my dad, without you, I wouldn't be as free as I am. And for Alex, when I said I want to go to Shanghai because my novel is playing there, you did not laugh at me. You just started looking at flights. I love you for your crazy spontaneity. Dimension 1, the time 2021. It exists, the world of laughter, the world of songs and stories, the world of friends and like stories, fairy tales, and stars. We just cannot search for her. We have to create her. This is actually starting out as good as I was hoping it to be. The way that German writers write is a very different style compared to English writing. So this is my question of the week is, do you have a favorite author that is in writing in your native language or in your like second language that is not English? And do you have any experience with like translations? What are your thoughts about translations? But tell me why, and tell me if their work is being translated in either English or German, because I want to know. Because I got back into German books right now with this one, I had to think about this book because I think like a year ago I joined this portal where you can request not arcs, it's more like reading samples that you get for review. And when I got this book, I felt like a little bit overwhelmed with how am I going to create a good review of a cookbook on my channel, because like an Amazon or Goodreads review isn't enough. That feels authentic, and I was a little bit hesitant about it. Cynthia's baking book is that it combines the American cooking with products that are available in Germany. So one of the biggest issues I have with all these is that sometimes they're using ingredients that are not the same in Germany, or that are not as available in Germany. So whereas I can say, okay, we only have spaghetti squash, or we only have kale in these like 2-3 weeks when it's in season, I can wait for that recipe. But one of the biggest things, for example, would be brown sugar, which we just cannot get here. The first baking book from Cynthia, I made one of her muffins and I was floored. It was so amazingly good. But the thing that I remembered is that figured out how to replace some of these ingredients that aren't available here, and how to incorporate it properly. It's really time to go and try and bake one of these. I think this weekend is my best and my worst reading weekend in a long time. I finished chapter 6 in the Warbreaker. I am so in love with reading these two. I can't even decide between which one to continue on. And then comes along Girl Made of Stars that I have the book box for. And my that I'm planning to buddy read with Ilva, and she just texted me that she is starting and she's expecting to be able to read 40-50% of this. And because I have a book box, I want to dive into this as well. It's the best because I'm loving everything. I have a book box and I have 2 books that I have this yes feeling.
One eternity later.
I just started Girl Made of Stars. I remember that I really wanted to read this, but I since have forgotten what it's about, which is good. As you might know, I love going into a book completely blind. I'm on page 10 and I already have the first gift to open. It comes along with a little postcard, which I'm going to read now. The story is really like heavy and important and really well told, so I'm expecting heavy topics. Gift number 1, and they're just entering a cafe and to drown their sorrows in lavender, macaroons and sage tea. Let's read the postcard. Open the first present, then read on. Okay, let's open the present. It's tea! It's English breakfast tea. That's good. I definitely have use for that, and it's a really nice brand. I hope you like the first few pages and are happy about your first present. It's always tea time, especially now where it is starting to become more autumny. I love it to really get comfy with a cup of tea. I hope you like the tea and you have a really cozy reading time. Yes, I do. And it's a cute postcard. So I'm on page 48. Our main character is getting licorice whips, cherry chokes, whoppers, peanut M&Ms, and a bag of popcorn. So I'm guessing we're gonna get sweets here. She says, open the second present. So the postcard is actually, I really like this one. This is pretty. And it says, of all the worlds that the man has created, the one of books is the most enormous. So let's open it up. Yes! Oh, that is good. Thank you so much. I mean, you don't know that I love M&Ms, so you could have easily, that would have been an easy one. But this is much more perfect because these are completely like, it's just fruit, no added sugar. Thank you so much. So I'm on page 92. I am going through this book so quickly. It reads very easily. So we are at the next gift. We have another card. It says, a life without books is like a childhood without fairy tales, like youth without love, and age without peace. It's a nice saying. It's not necessarily my style, but it's a beautiful card. Number 3, I already mentioned that I think this is typical mug size. The dad is handing her tea, and then she closes her hands around the warm cup. So, oh, that is cool. That is even better than just a mug. Mugs are so hit and miss for me. I love when they are not just like straight, and I love this mug, for example. This is beautiful. But this is there's tea on top. What? This is like a spice tea. That is not necessarily my kind of thing, but it says it is a lemony hot with like, oh, what? 30% cinnamon? Probably not. Then we have an herbal tea of elderflower, hibiscus. That sounds really good. And a fruit tea, like a peach fruit tea. And this is these are actually two. Oh, there's more tea down here. Way! What else do we have? Apple. I like apple. And then another herbal tea, minty fresh. We have sage eucalyptus. That sounds good. Green tea with ginger and lemon, and then mint tea. That is a really cool selection. That's very like all over the place. So these are portable mugs. I love the size. This is perfect. This is so good. They feel like really great quality as well. I love it. And we have a pink and a gray one. This is really cool. Here's something that hopefully is practical. These small foldable mugs can hopefully help your everyday life. Hashtag van life. Support your everyday life. Hashtag van life without taking much space. Have fun with it. Yes, Sarah. Yes. You are so right. Thank you so much. This is so heartbreaking. This is written so well. It feels so realistic and it feels so heartbreaking. And oh my God. With the fourth gift. And right now in the book, one is crying and the author is telling us about how the other person doesn't cry the worst days when she swears her voice doesn't fit who she is and she has no idea how to tell her parents how she feels or thinks about herself. She never cries. Her eyes may well up, but the tears never fall. So I have no idea what's in the package. And then the postcard is this one. It says, reading means dreaming through other people's hands, through foreign hands or something. I don't... Oh, yes, that is awesome. Look at this. Oh, they even have like in the front, they have a kind of like what's in season. This one is really well done. How does this with crying? What helps on the worst days? Usually I can lift my mood with cooking some yummy food and then enjoying it. Obviously on good days as well. I hope you will find a good vegetarian recipe in here. Tell me once you've tried some. Guys, oh my gosh, honestly, I'm on page 192. The person who created this box for me just wrote this. I'm crying. And I had to just collect myself and calm down a little before turning on the camera so I can actually speak. This book is so touching. It is so real. And that's what makes it so horribly touching. The next gift is talking about the stash of Luna bars I keep in my school bag for rehearsal snacks. And I think that we have some bars in here. So we have half pots. This is coconut. It's a raw fruit and nut bar. And this is apple cinnamon. Sounds really good. And that sounds like something that when I'm going on a hike that I could really use well. So I'm going to put this into my hiking bag. We have another postcard, and this one says, what an emotional trauma. For you there is a nice snack. No Luna bars, but I really find these tasty. They are whole food, plant-based, and have a lot of protein. Thank you. Just a few pages later, page 196, and we already have the next gift, and it's one of that I have been waiting for because I have no idea what this can be. Right now here we're talking about Andromeda's hard to find, usually too far south on the horizon to see, but she's out there somewhere, trapped and alone, awaiting her own release. How is that? Like, I have no clue. Ah, it's stars. I needed new lights, and these are so gonna go into my car. That's awesome. I hope with this gift I can give you a special treat. It really fits well to the book, but I hope it can make your car a little bit more beautiful. Yes, definitely. I mean, I did have a nice fairy lights kind of a thing, but this is beautiful, and it broke, and this is perfect. Thank you. I probably would have never bought stars for myself, but I think it actually works out perfectly for the car. 2 more gifts to go and roughly 100 pages to go. Number 7, and the postcard is this. And in here we're talking about hibiscus lotion and Dove soap, and I'm assuming that we have soap in here. Oh, this is beautifully designed. Duschbrocken, like shower break or something. It smells really good. And it looks kind of cool. This is like paper, so I'm assuming that this will not last very long. For a little bit of diversity with your gifts, and because they're talking about soap, I have something really special for you, a shower brick. I am using this brand for a couple of months, and I'm really loving it. It is really practical when you only have a little space, and instead of a lot of like shower stuff, you only have this little brick. I'm actually using it for my body and my hair, really. And of course, it is sustainable and plastic free. I love it. I love it a lot. I'm not sure if it's gonna be okay for my hair. My hair is a mess lately and needs moisture, and I feel like I cannot I feel like I cannot give my hair enough, like I cannot hydrate my hair enough. I'm not sure if I can ever completely just go a brick like this, but maybe. This, and I love the branding. I don't know if you were able to see this properly, but this is really cool branding. Of like the packaging is awesome. Love it, and the smell is awesome as well. Thank you so much. I love it. Damn it, you guys, if you have read this and there's no, like, you didn't start crying, who even are you? I mean, honestly, this is so good and so touching and so depressing at the same time because it's so real. Charlie and I come downstairs. Owen is sitting at the breakfast bar slurping cereal. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. She's grabbing a couple of granola bars, and we have cereal. So, oh, nuts. Oh, that is good. That is good. That is nuts and dried fruit. A last gift and a last snack. This is talking about cereal and granola, and I love nuts in a muesli, or just like this to snack. Yeah, I love nuts and dried fruit like this to snack, since my surgery a lot. This postcard is also, it really fits the book. It a few last pages ahead of you, and I really hope that you enjoy this book, that you like this book, and the box gave you some joy. Please let me know all your thoughts and feelings. Oh, so many feelings. so many feelings. I've been sharing things with her along the way. I already did that. How many pages do I have left? I like 10 pages. Okay, I can do another 10 pages, and then I'll do my workout to get some dopamine flowing, I guess. Well, this is it for this week. I gave Girl Made Out of Stars 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was brilliantly written. It did capture me emotionally. I just, I don't know, maybe it's just not a topic that resonates with me personally enough to give it 5 stars. I know that's a super lame excuse, but yes, I cried, but I just felt like something was missing. It's so hard to explain. Interesting enough, the 2 people that I read this with, one person is the one who created the book box. She gave it 4 out of 5 stars with a very similar reasoning. She said it was a really good book, but something, just something. And the other person, she was super moved, and she is between 3 and 4 stars, and I'm still waiting for her explanation because I cannot grasp why it's only 4 stars, but it just doesn't feel like a 5-star to me. Sorry. I am not as far into die Schöpfer der Wolken and Warbreaker as I would have liked to, but I'm still quite on target, so I'm quite happy with my reading week. I've been doing quite a few challenges on Goodreads as well, like scavenger hunts and this kind of stuff. And I'm actually, I'm completely on target with my reading plan. When did that ever happen? Middle of the month. Hello. By now I'm usually like way behind. So yeah, this is it for this week. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Join me again next week. More reading in 2 amazing books, Schöpfer der Wolken and Warbreaker, and more. Definitely more books. Until then, bye!